Some really exciting news here. It is officially release day for my book, Shameless: Republicans' Deliberate Dysfunction and the Battle to Preserve Democracy. I wrote this book because we are heading into another election cycle where, yet again, we see polling on how Republicans get credit for being better on the economy, for being better on family values, for being better on the Constitution, when in reality, this is part of a long con by the GOP wherein they rely on their historic branding as the party of family values, of fiscal responsibility, of states' rights, the Constitution, law and order, to give themselves cover to act in a way that is completely antithetical to that branding. In other words, Republicans know how Americans perceive them, and they hide behind that glossy veneer while actually destroying the economy, hurting families, opposing the Constitution, denying states' rights, and on and on. What's worse, the media has for too long played into the Republicans' hands by helping them perpetuate this farce, knowing full well that if they dared call the Republicans out on their BS, that the right would cry liberal media, and there's nothing that the mainstream media is more afraid of. And so instead, they will bend over backwards to show blind deference to the right, helping them perpetuate right-wing propaganda like Hillary's emails on a loop before the 2016 election. And this cycle repeats itself over and over, but we cannot keep sleepwalking into this nonsense. My book lays bare exactly what's happening, and most importantly, how we can fix it. As you know, I work 7 days a week, too many hours a day, to cover everything that's happening right now in politics. I've launched shows with people who I believe are the absolute best in the business so that you always get accurate information. And because my goal is to ensure that politics is accessible to everybody, I'll never put anything on this channel behind a paywall. It has never been and won't ever be about money for me. But this is the one time that I will ask you to support my work if you can. And look, I was an English major in college. I have an English degree. I'm not gonna lie, the New York Times bestseller list is literally one of my life's goals. So if you think that you might buy the book, I would ask that you do it this week, since this would be the week that I could make the list. So I'll put the link right here on the screen and in the post description, or you can go to briantylercohen.com/book, and there you'll find lots of options to grab a copy. The usual spots like Amazon and Barnes & Noble. You can also use bookshop.org, that link, if you want to support independent booksellers. And I even put a whole list of indie bookstore options from most states right there on the screen so that you can support those stores as well. And full disclosure for those asking what's best for the New York Times list, it's the indie bookstores that I listed in each major city. So if you live in Pennsylvania, for example, go ahead and grab your copy from the Philly location listed on that site. That not only supports indies, but it'll help me with the list. And finally, if you live in or around Washington, D.C., so Virginia, Maryland, or D.C. itself, I'll be live in person with Jen Psaki at 6th and I tomorrow, Wednesday, August 14th. There are still some tickets available, and we would love to meet you in person, sign books, the whole thing. You can use the same website that I referred to before, briantylercohen.com/book, or the website in the post description. Same thing. Scroll down to Shameless Book Tour and click Get Tickets, where it says 6th and I. It's going to be a really fun event, and I would really love if you could make it. And finally, thanks for bearing with me for these book advertisements. It is very out of character for me to talk about myself and my projects, but I hope you'll extend some grace here for this week, considering this is the culmination of a long journey that I hope will help inform and entertain a lot of people. But I know the book stuff can get tedious, so bear with me for a week here. Thanks so much to everybody, and again, please grab your copy of Shameless. Come see me and Jen Psaki in DC on Wednesday. Okay, back to politics.